Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. Today is June 28th and this is my weekly shop update. So I've been out here plugging away at this thing for most of the week. The beginning of the week was kind of cold and rainy and not that great for working outside, and so I finished up the article I was writing for Woodworker's Journal on the outfeed table. So that's going to be in, I think, September's issue. One of the fall issues it'll be in, so look for that on newsstands this fall. It's gonna be pretty cool to have something published in a magazine. So yeah, excited about that. Also, this has been going pretty darn well. So the I guess the biggest thing this week is the whole lifting columns are reinstalled now. So I have the posts down there with the Acme rods and the stub posts and the sprockets up top. They're all back in there. So the whole lift mechanism, I can get to the new stuff, which is all of the linking chain and the linking stuff that needs to be built to kind of finish up the stuff that's in the plans. On Tuesday, I went over to a viewer's shop. He gave me some crap about the keyways I had cut in the little stub shafts down here. With the angle grinder, and he offered that if I wanted to come by and have the keyways machined on his mill, that he would do that for me. So thank you so much, Carson, for taking care of that for me. It was really fun to be in your shop and to have those keyways cut. I got to see a milling machine in person, actually working for the first time. I've seen them in, of course, in people's videos and things like that, but it's different to be able to see them in person, to be able to see the table moving and just no flex, just perfect. It's pretty incredible. So I think someday having a mill would be a really nice addition to the shop for some random tasks like that. I think it'd be fun to learn how to use one of those and to be decent at it someday. So that's definitely on the bucket list. But the whole lift is back installed, so I have the saw head back on the lift mechanism, so it's not sitting on those posts anymore, which is really nice. I think that's probably about like the highlight of stuff that's actually on here. I'm about to get the guards put back on and get the wheels reinstalled and get that kind of out of the way. But one thing I just finished up and I'm kind of in the process of kind of moving a little forward on is the whole base. So if you remember back when I built this thing, the driveway, like all over here, this was all logs, and over there was all logs. So I literally built this in place where I had the space to build it, and I had built it too close to the shed. So if I had the saw head parked next to the shed all the way back on the track, if I was to raise the saw head, the saw head would it would catch the corner of the shed, the fascia board. It would just catch that. So it only happened once. I wasn't paying attention, and I had the saw head going up, and it started jacking up the shed. But I just took a few moments to finally reposition this thing and shift it over. So you can see I haven't moved the blocks quite yet, but the back side of the mill used to be right here, so I've moved over maybe 18 inches or so. That changes the whole angle of approach too for coming with a trailer. It's more in line with how you would come down the driveway with the trailer, so when logs are coming off, it'll be a little bit easier too, but it is away from the shed. I don't have to worry about it contacting that anymore, which is kind of nice. As I'm getting the whole base put together, I'm doing something a little different with the leveling bolt things. So I originally had these plates that the bolts would sit on, and that I thought that'd be a good idea because it would distribute the weight a little more, and it would also make it really easy to turn the bolts because you're not fighting the friction of whatever the mill is sitting on. So low friction, that was good, except for when you're trying to move stuff on and off the mill. Low friction isn't all that great because it's pretty easy to pull the whole mill right off of these little pads, which is kind of what's been happening to me as I've been loading logs on here. So what I'm doing differently now that I have this thing in its final place, I'm kind of messing with the bottom of the mill, is I'm adding a pin on here. So now the actual leveling bolt will be pinned to the little base plate thing, and that'll allow the whole thing to really grab into the ground. I also have the hole in the bolt a little oversized, so that takes care of any kind of misalignment with the ground just by a few degrees, which is a nice little plus. So I'm just going through and drilling a hole in the top of all of these things and drilling a hole in, I re-drill all the holes in the plates and cutting a little pin there, but that's going to tie them together and it'll still allow them to spin independently, so you can raise and lower the whole bed really easily with little friction. But then when you actually go to apply any kind of lateral force to it, now you have a lot more friction. Oh, this is pretty slick. But now you have a lot more friction between the little disc, the bolt, and then whatever's sitting on, which happens to be those concrete blocks right now. So that'll probably take me through the production of that kind of reassembly video. So that'll go through getting the whole lift mechanism reinstalled, some of the small stuff, and then doing the base. So that'll be a video coming up. And then the next one on the sawmill will be on the linkage up top. So taking care of that linking chain, all the linking sprockets, and also fill you in on the lift motor that's been up there for like a long time now. And then the only other last bit of things to do would be to install the lube system and then to install a belt guard on the motor pulley. But I think after that, that's pretty much going to wrap up all of the work on the mill and get some sawing done, which would be nice. So I think that's about all I am doing this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. Hi, Pancake. First this week are a set of Arrow of Light awards by Sam. Sam made these awards from his old kitchen cabinet doors to upcycle the materials. To make the awards, he used a bandsaw, a hand plane, a drill press, chisels, and he finished them with spray lacquer. He had a friend help him out with the wood burning for the date and pack numbers. Next, the Patio table by Todd. The table is made from a pecan and cedar tree that he got off Craigslist a few years ago, and then he used his chainsaw mill to make the lumber. Next, the Waterfall desk by Kris. Kris used a slab of live edge Purdue to create this waterfall style desk for his office. The leg is made from hard maple, and he used heartwood from the cutoffs to make plugs for the screw holes. Kris has a video over on his YouTube channel that shows how he made this desk, so definitely check that out. Last this week is a wedding photo frame by Scott. The inspiration for the frame came from Mark Spagnola's design that he did for the frame project over in the Guild. Even though no one will notice, he made sure to book match the pieces for each side. He says this was the first time when he didn't just use the board as is, but rather cut out sections from larger boards that contain the grain patterns that he wanted. Scott has a lot more details on the whole process, and I'll leave a link to that down in the description. So that's about all for me this week. I think this is probably going to take a couple more days to finish producing, so I'll have a Q&A video this weekend, so look for that. And then this video on this stuff to this point will probably be out the following weekend. So that's about all for me this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the sawmill, anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'd love to be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking. This is still woodworking, I promise. Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah. Matt's Jungle Gym.